Hi, I'm Dr. Josh Kiley. I'm a chiropractor here at Highlands Wellness and Sports Injury Clinic. In this video, I'm going to do my best to bring you through 5 different things that you can change in a workout if you're having some pain. This video accompanies a blog. The link will be in the description. Check it out. We lay it all out there, and this is a system that we use very often with patients in the clinic. If you're having pain, I highly recommend you get assessed before you try this out on your own. But these are great tools. We try and teach them to everybody. Lets you work out well for years to come, even if you get a little nagging pain here and there. So the first thing we often will modify is the load. This can be taking the weight down, and sometimes it might be changing the sets or the reps or how many times you do the exercise in a week. So for example, you do a back squat, you're gonna do 3 sets of 12 with, 225. But that's causing you some trouble. Maybe you come down to 185, or maybe you do 3 sets of 10, you're leaving 2 reps in the tank, or maybe you do 2 sets of 10, or maybe you just don't back squat twice that week, you only back squat once that week. These are all totally valid options. They're temporary, you're not gonna do this forever, but often they will help with pain. The second thing we might change is tempo. Most people in pain in the clinic find that doing an exercise faster can be more aggravating. So we often will just slow everything down. Now this might mean 3-second descent, 3-second up in a back squat. That is absolutely killer. And this doesn't actually work for every exercise. Like you can't really do that for a hang clean. But when you can modify tempo, it's a great tool and often makes things more comfortable. If we've tried to modify load and we've tried to modify tempo and we've had no luck, this is where I might implement isometric exercises. An isometric exercise is basically taking a full exercise and breaking it down into parts and then pausing at the different parts that you can tolerate. So for example, in a back squat, we can't tolerate the up and down motion. Perhaps we'll do a squat where we, sit against the wall and just hold it there for time, 30 to 60 seconds. Most of my patients find that this is really tolerable. And this is something we often will use with like a tendinopathy or sciatica, something that's really painful and not tolerating full exercise very well. So if we've tried all 3 of those changes, still no luck, this is when I might consider changing the biomechanics of an exercise. We'll use the back squat as an example. Typically bars on your back. It's pretty hingy, but that's causing you trouble. So maybe we'll do a front squat instead. So bar on your chest, you're usually a bit more upright. The hinge is more at the knee instead of the hip. You might be able to tolerate that better. Another example would be using like a goblet squat, or perhaps doing a bodyweight squat or a safety squat bar squat. So if you have these extra bars, this is a great time to use them. Another thing that we might change on this would be modifying into like a box squat, for example, where you can sit back a little bit more and you have that support. So modifying the range of motion as well. These will all go in the same camp of biomechanical changes. Really, really useful. And try and be consistent. Like if you're gonna make a change to the biomechanics, maybe do it for 2 or 3 weeks and see how you respond to that before we switch it up again. Lastly, if you've tried load change, tempo change, tried some isometrics, you've tried just a different exercise that's a similar pattern but different, the biomechanical change, perhaps now it's time to try a unilateral exercise. There's a couple of big benefits for unilateral exercises. You can get a really good workout in without using nearly as much weight because you're typically going to be training either one arm at a time, one shoulder at a time, or one leg at a time. So you don't need nearly as much weight to get a hard workout in. If you do have some imbalances, it'll help even those out. You get like a balance benefit from them too. And most people, simply put, can tolerate them much better, especially if we're having lots of pain. It's just more options. So an example, we'll keep going with the squat example. Back squat didn't work, front squat didn't work, box squat didn't work. Try a split squat. Basically a lunge, but your feet don't move, and you can play around with the range of motion there. I have tons of patients who can't tolerate any of that other squatting, but can do the split squat. So they can keep training, they can keep making progress, and until things calm down enough that we can add normal squatting in, it gives them options. So those are the 5 things that I recommend that we try out if we're having pain in the workout. This is all part of our rehab program. It's all just baked in, but we have modifying load, modifying tempo, trying some isometrics, changing the biomechanics, and doing unilateral exercise, so one arm or one leg. Try it out, let me know what you think. And of course, if you're struggling with this and you want to get a little bit of help, That is what we're here for. We offer manual therapy to calm things down, get things moving, and then we teach people how to do all of what we just talked about while supervising or just sending them home with a good plan that we know is going to work. So hit us up at the clinic, Highlands Wellness. We're in Kanata. We're happy to help.